Morning YouTube. So in this video today I want to just go through some of my warning signs or red flags when I'm quoting for customers. Some of them could be face to face on the job, or some of them could even be over the telephone. Some of them is just as the telephone rings as a red flag for me. Now other people have discussed this on YouTube and I thought I'll sort of put my sort of 2 cents in, but at the same time, don't let it put you off. You will never get a perfect customer. And I'd say, looking at this list, I would say probably all of my customers have done one of these things. And if I was to exclude every single customer based on one of these things, I would have no customers. It's as simple as that. But like always, trust your gut instinct. Trust what your spidey sense is telling you. If people are doing 2 or 3 of these things, or even one of them, and you just think, hey, this doesn't feel right, don't go. You don't go there. Use your judgment. Go whatever, but use your judgment. Don't think, oh, Sam was saying these on the internet of one of these things, I won't go. Because like with the hourly rate or anything to do with money, they could just be trying to budget as they're doing it. That's it. That's what I've found. So we'll kick off. So as I said, least to worst, or worst to best, or worst to worst. This is the list, and this is how I'm going to do it. So first red flag for me is calling at antisocial times. Now I've had it before where customers have rung up Friday night 11:30. They could just be on shift work, or they could just be, that's the time. Why is it that time? Why at 11:30 on a Sunday or Friday night do we need to ring up a gardener to get a price for a grass cut? And that bloke even wanted a price over the phone. Same with customers are ringing you up at 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning for work. I'm flattered, but it's a bit early. I used to have it with a bloke, and he used to say to me, he says, he used to hate it with a passion if anybody would ring him on a Sunday, that like a tradesperson, because he says that's the day off. So in a weird sort of way, I've tried to mimic it, but when you get people ringing, like Sunday 11:30 at night, you think, bloody hell. But it is what it is, isn't it? The next one, now I've called this Somebody's Sloppy Seconds, and it's a lovely title, lots of S's. But what I mean by that is I've got a gardener, he does the grass, he does the shrubs in here, but he's not interested in the other stuff. So you're just going to be doing weeding, or you're doing the stuff that other people don't want to do. And I suppose that's what our job is in general. But I find there's nothing worse than going there and, as somebody else doing stuff, and you're like, basically you're either tidying up after him or doing other stuff that he doesn't want, and it could lead to, oh yeah, no problem, I'll get the borders back, get all the borders, you get back on top of them, and then suddenly the other bloke could be like, oh well, I could do it all now if you want, extra tenner on the visit, oh yeah, brilliant. So as I said, Somebody's Sloppy Seconds. It feels like that sometimes, if I'm being honest with you. I'm going to try and blast through these because some of them want to talk a little bit longer. Next one is if they badger you. If you ring up at first thing in the morning, hi, is this SGM? Yes, what can I do for you? Oh, could you come out and arrange to do a quote for me? Yeah, no problem. I'll give you a call tonight when I get back, probably around about 5:30. Okay, no problem. 3:30. Hiya, is this SGM? Yeah. Are you going to give me a call about this quote, please? Yes, no problem. I said to you, I'll give you a call at 5:30 when I'm back. Okay. 29 minutes past 5. Hi, is this SGM? I'm just ringing up. You said you're going to give me a quote. Yes, I've just got back in. What can I do for you? Now, they could just be that eager to give you work. They could just be that sort of person. But again, you've got to think about what they're like if something doesn't go their way, or they don't like it. Are they going to be that sort of relentless, or you pick it up after you, chasing you for something? As I said, all of these, some people might say, nah, that's normal, all my customers, and I've got customers like that. I've got a customer that if I say to her I'll be there for 9 o'clock, if it's 1 minute past 9, 2 minutes past 9, she will make a point, and she's got to say, it's a compulsion. She's got to say, I thought you weren't coming today. I've been coming to you for 5 years, every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. You know, anyway. So, next one. This is a controversial one. New builds. So, I do work for... I've worked and I do regular work for people in new builds. And there is definitely no comparison between a new build garden and a house that was thrown up in the 40s. In terms of quality of the garden, it is. When people say to me that are in like 1940s or older houses, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and they say, oh, the soil's poor here, I look at it and I think, no, you want to go to a new build where it's rubble with 2 inches of topsoil. Well, not even topsoil, 2 inches of some form of soil. The new builds are, and I can't understand it, because I look after new builds that were fields 5 years ago with soil in the fields, with lovely thick grass. They somehow managed to strip all that away, take all the good soil and replace it with rubble and shit. The work as well, bank on having a lawn that will grow quite quick at the start, and then whether it depletes its nutrients, whatever. Also, they've got terrible drainage. Another thing as well, I will mention it, I'm not being stereotypical, I've found the types of customer. I'm not saying, you're not narrowing any sort of gender stereotype out. It could be anybody. I don't know what it is, but they're more prone to either offer poor work in the beginning, or they're more flaky on work. Whether it's because the grass slows down and they think, oh well, last month it was up here, now it's down to here, therefore Sam can do it once a month instead. As I said, I'm not trying to narrow, you know, on anybody at all. This is just my experience that I've found as I've been gardening. The next one is use your imagination, customers. I can't... Now, my tastes are my tastes. You might not like them. And there's nothing worse than having a customer where they say, oh, I don't really know what I want. Well, what do you suggest? I don't mind offering suggestion input. I find sometimes that can be a smokescreen to... You tell me exactly how you're going to do it and we'll get it sorted by somebody else. So be wary of that. But also, as I've had it with customers where it's, oh, just do what you please. Just do as you please. Just, you know, if you need plants, get plants. I don't mind that, but, you know, trying to get a bit of input off customer. Right, I'm going to go pick some plants. What's your budget? Oh, I don't know. Well, you know... Trust me, 50 quid's worth of plants doesn't get you very far unless you're buying bedders. If you want stuff that'll stick around, you know, you're talking, you won't get many plants for 50 quid. Oh, well, go up to 100, you know. Any particular type? No. As I said, maybe that's my personality. I need clear instructions. I don't mind it, but I've had it in the past where I've said to people, well, what do you want? What type? Oh, I don't. Well, what colour? Oh, any. You go, oh, I don't like red. I had one once, she told me, yeah, get any colour plant you want. You know, left it to me, got back home and I had reds and blues and all that. My husband's colourblind, he can't see that colour. Why don't you tell me? I'm not psychic. Anyway, I'm sure every time he looks at it, he thinks about that exchange. You get stuff like that all the time. It cracked me up when she told me that, but why wouldn't you mention it? Anyway. Next one is Golden Promise customers, and I've done a video on this. Anybody that out there that gives you that preface of, well, if you do a good job for me, my mum's interested and my dad's interested, or they don't even have to say that. By offering, you know, you other work, and by saying, oh wow, I've got other people that are interested, they're sort of wetting you, and they think, you know, I think they're teasing you, and you're thinking. And then you go and it's a crap job, or it's a crap job to begin with, but they offer this sort of thing, or, oh well, yeah, well, just do it and we'll see how we get on. But I reckon every fortnight or regular, and then it's never, or once a month, or once every 6 weeks. So be very wary of people that will sort of offer you something else as an incentive. It doesn't work like that. If a mum and dad needs a gardener, you don't need, okay, I can understand they might want to screen you out, but, you know, you trust people beforehand that they're going to do a good job. Anyway, Next one, and I've had to write a list for this because I can't remember, is this one is more, so I've titled it as state of the property. Now this is the one where you've gone, now what I try and do before I go to see a customer is I say to it, I try and include in general conversation, and it's so if they say to me, oh yeah, I'm coming back from the school run, bang, you know they've got school kids. What school kids have? Lawn ornaments, trampolines, you've got toys, you know, stuff like that. So you're banking on that even before you've gone. And then, oh, I'll let me know what time because I'll get the dog in. But even if you don't say that, when you go to the property, look around. Is there dog bowls outside? Is there cat bowls outside? You know, difference in size, difference in food that's on there. If you've got cats, you know the thing's going to shit everywhere. And they're the worst ones. It's a free pass on the shit card, isn't it? Just the same as if you've got children's toys. Or even if you've got a load of lawn ornaments. There's nothing worse than having properties where you go and you've got... I have a policy now that if it's a lawn ornament, I get the customer to move it. If they're precious about it, the worst ones are bird tables, sorry, bird baths. I used to have a customer that she used to have a real ornate stained glass one. She moved that. I'm not touching that. She actually dropped it moving it. But if it's not her doing it, it would be me, and it'd be me footing the bill. One of my customers, she's had a 4 foot tall bronze bloody deer thing put in that come damaged. So again, this thing, and I'm not picking it up and lumping it and breaking it. As I said, some people might say, well, it's part of your job, you've got to cut the grass. But there's enough stresses and enough problems without moving bloody deers and bloody stained glass bird baths, is there really? So next one is, this is more of a sort of a life lesson, maybe a sort of a bit of a, you know, a golden rule here, is take everything with a pinch of salt. So whatever the customer says to you, just don't believe it. I'm sorry, I've had it before, where I've had it millions of times now, where, you know, and I will cover this and other things, but where they'll say something, previous gardener let me down, that's another one, but I'll get on to that in a bit. But whatever they say, just take it with a pinch of salt, trust me on that. Go in a bit skeptical, don't let it affect your judgment or your price, you know. Don't think, oh, they've told me this, I'll put an extra tenner on. But be pleasant, be expected to be proven either right but in the wrong way, or wrong but in the right way. The next one, this is getting towards the ones now you really sort of can tell, you know, what the way the convo is going. Hourly rate. Any mention of an hourly rate? Do you work to an hourly rate? What is your hourly rate? I had a customer, she walked up to me the other day and she says, have you got a card with your hourly rates, with your rates on it? I said, I don't, but I've got a business card. I says, so just give me a call and I'll come and price it up. Never heard of it. Now, this is the one I will mention. I've had customers where they ask that. They're pensioners. They're just trying to work out what they need to spend the money on, and you know, they're trying to get a rough idea. And the thing is, not all professional gardeners, or not all gardeners, charge per job. If we all charged priced work per job, so we'll go in 30 for the lawn, not 25 an hour, then customers wouldn't need to ask for an hourly rate. It's only through people of years and years, or you know, one bloke in a village, you know, the job and knocker, who's gone round and he sort of, you know, did an hourly rate, and therefore people are used to that. I'm not saying it's our fault, but I'm saying to you that if people ask for it, it's not always a road to a bad customer, but it is sometimes. It really is. It's, you know, and then, oh God, it's even worse. And this is another one, but I've not put it as another one. If you've then got to go into detail, if you say to them, I don't work to an hourly rate, I price per job, or per outcome, which I think is a more than fine answer. If they then go, well, why don't you? My last, you know, why don't you? Or be mentioned, or, and this is another one I'll say, but as I said, just it's not all bad, but at the same time, I have had it a lot. Next one. Oh, so my last gardener has gone off sick, or he's retired. Whenever I hear that, Now this could, I'm not saying this is a negative one, I'll get on to that in a bit, but this could be in a positive way. This could be that, you know, the gardener's just been sick, retired, whatever. Now I instantly go, you know, you're thinking, oh bloody hell, because you don't know what was that a professional gardener charging professional rates. So therefore when you go in and you say, yeah, it's going to be £30 for your grass cut, they understand that. Or is that a bloke down the road who's got a little push mower who goes up and down the street and does the lawns for all the women and all the blokes on the street, and he's charging £8 an hour? Which one are you taking over, and which one do you know you're going to have to fight to, or you don't, you're pissing in the wind? And I think you know the answer. There's nothing worse. I remember, I've said this story loads of times now. I was mowing a customer's lawn, and I heard a shout over the fence, and it was a lady saying, how much would it be to cut my lawn? I looked at this customer's lawn and I thought, oh, it's only hour, and I was charging hourly back then. £20 for the lawn, love. Okay, brilliant. I've got to go out, but I'll leave the money under a plant pot. So anyway, I walked around. There was no front lawn. I walked around, and Jesus Christ, this lawn was double, and she'd just moved in, so it hadn't been cut for a while. And I thought, oh my God. And she did say, is that for a fortnightly price? So it wasn't even a first cut price, and I did it. And I thought, well, I've committed now. It is now, you know, you start justifying it in your head, don't you? I thought, well, it's 20 quid, it's money, because this is when I first started. And thank whatever God's up there, I had a text message offered literally the same, either the same night or the next day. Hi Sam, sorry to do this, but the bloke who looks after the lawns on the street has come. He says he says he charges £12 for the grass. If you're willing to match that, we'll stick with you. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So I just said, oh, so sorry, I can't price match, but I'm glad you've got somebody to look after the garden. I couldn't believe it, but at the same time I was like, yes, I was happy at that. So I know I've said about my last gardener. Now this one is I would say this is the ultimate red flag for me. This is the one that I'd say 95% of all the quotes I've ever been to, this is the one where it's I know the way it's going to go. It's going to be cruising for a bruising street, and I just instantly think to myself, why am I even here? It's any negative mention of their previous gardener. So anything negative, let me down, unreliable, charged me too much, ripped me off. Now, as I said, this is 95%. I've had a little percent of where they have had a bad experience with a gardener, and I think to myself, you know, and I've convinced myself, I've worked for them for a few years, yeah, they might have done. And it does happen. We all got bad tradesman experiences, we all have. But as I said, unfortunately, so much of it is, as soon as they tell me this, I'm like, oh my God, I thought you were a good customer. Now you're telling me that, you know, you've been... I had a lady I went to last Christmas and started this year, and she says to me, every trade, she didn't start off by saying it, but she made mention of, the bloke who put my patio down, you know, he's done a crap job. And then she went on to say about the kitchen, and then, you know, the bathroom, and she had bad experience with everybody. And then it turned out that I thought, oh, she's a poor old lady, you know, well, I'll do the best job I can. Turned out she's a nightmare. It's as simple as that. She can't please anybody. You can't please her. Same with that lady, that one I did that grass cut on, and then the follow-up video, let down by a previous gardener. Previous people, you know, didn't keep coming. They were unreliable, kept letting her down. Well, after the visits and worming it out of her, turns out that these two poor buggers, and I do feel sorry for them, they're faced with a situation where there's two people working for 50 quid for 2 hours. They're getting £12.50 each. They're using their own kit. They're looking after a big property. That's their fault. They signed on for that. But then the customer herself is not willing to give them any leeway she's constant, because she's tried to do it with me already about changing the visits. This doesn't, and I'm thinking, if you're like this when I'm standing my ground, well, are they start, you know, are you cancelling them? Are you saying, oh, it doesn't look like it needs much? And these two poor muppets are turning up for £12.50 an hour with their own kit. How can they make money off that? That's why they let you down. And this is the thing, it's not always as simple. I had a customer a few years ago, and she started off by saying, oh, my previous gardener, whenever I rung him, he couldn't come. I'd ring him up, and he'd say, I can't get to you for a couple of weeks. Well, I want him now. And I'm thinking, well, it sounds to me like he's busy, like I am, and I need notice. So little things like that. As I said, any negative mention, and I just think the thing is, it'll be you next. That's how I look at it. It will be you. It won't be them saying, oh, that's SGM. He tried his best. He turned up. He tried to do his best for me. No, it'd be, oh shit, he's turned up on time, whatever. You know, his beard's unscuffy, whatever. So that's my sort of, I think there's like 12 or 13 there. That's my red flags, as I said. Don't get put off if, you know, you go to a customer and bang, hourly rate straight off for chat. You know, some of them are, you know, just go off your gut instinct. And at the same time, you know, we all like, so I've got this customer at the moment. I know she's going to replace me. I am 100% sure she's going to replace me. But how it is at the moment, it's money every fortnight. I'm just up the road from another customer. I'm expecting to be replaced as soon as. Hopefully, if we can carry on, there'll be the hedge cut from it as well. So that'll be another bit of money. And I'm expecting her to drop me. I'm expecting her to find some idiot who'll do it for £12.50 an hour. Or, you know, flash out for 20 quid. And he'll let her down and the cycle will begin again. And then I know I'll probably get a phone call asking her to rectify it again. And it's up to me, isn't it? So, like I said, you know, next thing I'm going to say is, just as much as a customer is auditioning you, you're auditioning a customer. You don't have to work for everybody. Now, it's easier said than done, especially for, you know, me who's a bit further on in my journey, but it's only my 4th season. My first season, I was taking anything, you know. Customers were doing all of them on that list, and I'd take them because I was short of work, and I needed the work, and I needed the money. But as I said, they're auditioning you, they're thinking, I wonder if he's the right person for me. Well, you need to look at it as, is this customer the right one for me? You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You learn more from a bad mistake than you do from a good thing. But as I said, think to yourself, do I want to work for them? Is this work right for me? You know, do I want to be coming here and thrashing this down and it's still looking shit and getting underpaid for it? Think about that. So that's my little wrap up for today, guys. That's my 2 penneth. Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.